I got a hoop. I got a hoop when I was 5 years old. So when I got that hoop, that day I stayed outside for hours and hours on end. Every day I got home, I was out there for hours and hours and hours. I fell in love with it immediately. I quit all other sports. I started hooping solely. The problem was, as I got older, I played a lot of rec ball, played just whatever was around me, and I was good, but I wasn't that good. So I kept learning. I just figured, okay, well, this is where I'm at. Didn't really know how to develop, didn't know how to train, didn't know how to get better. Funny enough, I started working with Jordan around maybe like my junior year or so because he was coaching my younger brother. So I started actually working with him, coaching, training, and teaching younger players because I just wanted to give back. I was really, really smart. I knew the game, I just wasn't good at playing it. Right. So just helping him for a couple of years, and so it helped me to become a lot better as a coach, as a teacher, as a player, because then I started to learn and realize the things I was doing wrong. He ended up leaving to go pursue his training career. I kept the team for a couple of years, just kept training them, coaching them, teaching them. I'll move on to college. I go to study at San Diego State, learn some kinesiology, finish up there. But during that time there, I just kept training and teaching as many athletes as I could and helping as many people as I could study, work, treat people right, and continue to get better at my craft. So from there, I just figured, okay, well, if I have a workout every single day, if I train somebody every single day, if I connect with someone, connect with people, do something, just do it every single day, eventually something good will happen. I don't know when. But I ran a lot of big camps. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Cody Toppert over at Memphis, guys like Gannon, a lot of guys that I love working with, Gannon, Cody, Jordan, Devin Williams, a lot of guys that I've worked with before. I bring them here to run camps, learn from them, get more players in the gym. And then eventually Cody hooked me up with one of his NBA players that he worked with for the pre-draft, a guy that I work with till this day. So Johnny, when he came here, is my first NBA guy. I must have been like 18 years old at the time, training an NBA player. I wasn't ready for it, but it's cool because Johnny rocked with me. So from there, years and years and years went on. I ended up going to Israel to go work with him a few times. And then while there, I got a call from the guy who had owned this place and asked if I wanted it. And I said, there's not a doubt in my mind, I want it right now, right here. And so in a few weeks, I'll hit February 25th, which is gonna be my first year in here. And I'll be in this gym for about 350 days of the year. And the only reason I missed any days was because I was in Israel or Virginia or flying in a plane. Well, I say the best thing about any trainer in general, whether it's fitness, basketball, or any other sport, is the ability to adapt. So as a trainer, you have to be able to work with, in my opinion, you have to be able to work with a 5-year-old, a 50-year-old, a pro, an amateur, the worst player you've ever seen in the world, and some of the best players. And if you can figure out how to run a good workout and help those people at every single level, that diversity is really important to me as a trainer. So I feel like I have that pretty well. I can walk into a gym in this space, or I can walk into a gym with 50 courts, or I can walk into a gym with 15 players and 1 ball, or 15 balls and 1 player, I don't know, however it figures out. If I don't even speak the language, I'm gonna figure out how to run an incredible workout because I'm able to relate to the people and I understand how they're going to mess up. I know what they're gonna mess up on and why they're doing every single thing wrong, like how to make things smoother. I think that's something I'm really good at, is helping players to become smoother, taking out a lot of the unnecessary movements and just helping them to get to the spots and really understand the game at a developmental level. Yeah, I mean, we could take, today for instance. So I'm in here shooting with you guys, and a typical day of training that looks for me is every single day I'll have a bunch of private workouts in the morning. So some one-on-one or one-on-two sessions with either some older players, some homeschool kids, or some seniors in high school that get out early, college kids, whatever. Anybody who just isn't at work or at school. So I'll have some workouts in the morning, and then I'll have a 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock group classes, which will be from young kids to older kids and everywhere in between. And then at the end of the night, I'll have a couple more private workouts. So typically days will start from like 9 a.m. and end at 9 p.m. So my goal when I was 18 was simple. As far as the next 5 years of what I want to do, the simplest goal that I ever had was just I want to impact the most lives possible in a positive way. That was the #1 goal. Basketball is the way I do that. It's just the best way I can. So the next years and so I want to help some of the players and people and trainers in my area and help them to learn how to train correctly and what things they should be looking for and how to truly develop a player and build relationships, because of course those two things are so important. So right now, actually in a few weeks, my brother was going to be here helping me train and work with a lot of my classes. And I have another former player of mine who actually you saw walk in today. He's working with a lot of the youth and helping them and giving back. So the more trainers I can get in here to help, I want to open, I have about 30 classes a week. I want to get up to like 35, 40, I want to have so many classes every single week that this gym it is open 7 days a week, but I want it to be like filled all the time with just developing players. But for me personally, I want to travel a lot more and run a lot of camps all over the country and then other parts of the world too, because that gives me opportunity to really touch people and more players, more coaches, leave my stamp on more parts of the world. And then as much as I can do on social media, that's another way just to continue to give back a lot of free content for people that want to continue to grow and get better. I'll tell you a funny story about the murals and the inspiration. When I got in here, I told you February 25th. Technically, it was a couple days early, and then March was a sublease for me. So I didn't even have the place. I shouldn't have even done anything to the place on that month. And then technically my lease starts in April. So in March, the first day I got in here, I call an artist, a local artist, I say, listen man, I really love Kobe. I want to get a mural on this wall. This looks like a canvas to me, it was just pure concrete. So I sent him a picture, he walks in a few days later, and he starts like his mouth is watering. He's like, oh, I'm ready, dude, this is a beautiful canvas. So he comes in March and just starts like chalking up this Kobe and putting Kobe on the wall. He's like, yeah, I gotta have Kobe, Mamba mentality, like that's my goat to me, I was growing up. So he starts chalking it up. And the previous owner, who was like going back and forth between here and another city, and I didn't mean this in an offensive way at all, but he got mad at me. He's like, what are you doing? You're changing the place. You can't do anything. We have to go through the walkthrough. And I'm like, man, Kobe, man, I love Kobe. Like, I'm not hurting nothing. If you need to wash it off, you can wash it off. But I was just so excited to get Kobe on here first, and then just put something on the wall just to have something there for the players to walk in and be like, yeah, that's one day I want to be on a wall somewhere. I want someone to draw murals of me one day. I want to be that great. And just to continue to give that inspiration to them. And then of course it turned into Braun and Jordan, and then you see all the players on the top. But I love anime and he loves anime. So we added a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. You can see the ball, you can see the scouter on LeBron, you can see the dragon. And then on the top there's some Naruto with the headbands, and then some Hunter x Hunter, which is not as known as the other two, but it was just really cool to piece a couple things together that I love. That was nice. I'll tell you, it's my favorite class. But really, every day that I go through the private workouts with the doctors, so I'll do a lot of private workouts on skills, finishing, dribbling, passing, IQ, such and such, right? We'll go for about as long as we can, and then we'll put out the dish and just get up a lot of reps. But for me, even if we only have 10 minutes left in the workout, and I put up the dish, we can still get up 100, 200 shots so quickly, so easy, and go through game reps. So we do a lot of drift, lift, pop, flare, trails, a lot of things, and even in just 10 minutes, we're getting up all the reps that we need that we couldn't have gotten. So as far as just individual workouts is the best way to finish any workout in my opinion. And then on top of that, I have what's called my shooting lab every single day. It's like 7 o'clock on all weekdays and noon on weekends. But that in itself is just an opportunity that players package that with all their workouts, because once you finish your workout, there's no better way to finish your workout than to go get up shots. So now they get up an extra 200, 300, 400 shots per day every single time that they're here. And for players that continually get up those reps, you know how it is. Their shot starts to feel a lot better, their mentality starts to feel a lot better, and they're already pairing that with their workout. So now you're getting 2 workouts every single day, which is even better. A lot of stars aligned at the same time for that to happen. So obviously growing up, I was a pretty good shooter. I worked on my form. You can see my form is like flawless technique. So as far as shooting goes, I was obsessed with making sure I shot the ball perfectly. And then growing up, I started to realize this was around the time that the NBA was like discussing whether or not they should get rid of the hack-a-shack rule because guys couldn't make the free throws. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Professional players can't make free throws? This is ridiculous. There's no way. And I had broken my arm around that time. So I was like, oh, dude, now I want to find out how long is it going to take to build a shot from absolutely nothing? And what better person to test than myself and my left hand, which has no prior experience of shooting the ball, just to see really how hard it is. So I sat outside, did a lot of form shooting, literally just sitting in a cast with his hand. So it's like the worst guide hand of all time, just sitting there. Ton of form shooting every single day. Finally, my right hand starts to get back a little bit, but I was like, no, this is kind of fun. Like, I was still playing pickup, even with a hard cast or soft cast. Like I was pulling up lefty, whatever, finishing at the rim. I was obsessed with just playing basketball. And I wanted to at least still be a threat on the floor. If people couldn't back up off me, I was like, no, I still gotta shoot it. So my left-hand shot started getting a lot better. And then actually maybe just a few months ago, I wanted to test how good it was. So I came out here and I shot like 100 left-handed threes, and then it got gassed like so super early. I was like, dang, it's good, but it hasn't gotten enough quality, like consecutive reps, good quantity of reps back to back to back to back, and from that distance too. So I only made about like 45 out of 100, which still isn't horrible, but it's not good, because my right hand's I'm like 85. So I come back, I'm like, all right, well, let me shoot like 100 for the next week and then see what I do. And so next week, and really it wasn't that I got like better with it, I just got more comfortable because of enough reps I got. I'm like, dude, it's that easy? I got up to 70. And obviously I'm not gonna hate on no one or bash on no one in particular, but if I can learn how to shoot with my left hand, how can somebody not, there's no excuse to not be a shooter. There's no excuse to knock down open shots. And I'm not saying you have to be prolific, but 15 footers, if you hone in on your craft, if I can make 70 out of 100 left-handed threes, you're telling me you can't hit 80 out of 100 right-handed or strong-handed? Come on. And anybody can be a shooter. There's no excuse. And there's so much knowledge out there now. You can YouTube 7,000 videos on how to shoot the ball correctly. So I'm gonna pick two very biased answers. The Lakers have always been my favorite team, and obviously with the unfortunate passing of Kobe, there's probably a little extra fire there. So I'm gonna rock with the Lakers. I don't think LeBron is gonna lose a single playoff game, series. He might lose a game here or there, but I don't think he's gonna lose a series. You know, Anthony Davis and himself and all those guys, there's a lot of experience between just them and Rondo and some other championship players, Danny Green, who just won last year. So I'm gonna rock with the Lakers. I don't think anyone's touching them in the playoffs. There are a lot of good teams, but I don't think anyone's beating them. And then I'm gonna pick biased again and say San Diego State, because they're undefeated and from my city. So I want to see them do a lot of big things. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard just had his tribute, and San Diego's been making a big name. I'm sure you guys have heard of a lot of players coming out of San Diego, such as Norman Powell with the Raptors, or even now Mikey Williams is the big talk in town. But I want to continue to push San Diego basketball forward, and if San Diego State can help to do that too, then I'm gonna rock with them. The easiest way to find me is R2Bball on Instagram, TikTok, and then Ryan Razooky basketball on YouTube, which in my personal opinion is my best content because I put a lot of knowledge there. Longer videos, more time to explain things, but Ryan, R-Y-A-N, and then Razooky, R-A-Z-O-O-K-Y. Ryan Razooky basketball, and like I said, my YouTube is probably the best thing ever.